everyone, welcome to Bikini Design Club. On today's video, I will be explaining you exactly how I transformed my bikini and bra pattern Snowflake into this top corset, bustier, I don't know, top. I'm gonna call it top. It's an underwire top inspired and with a starting point in Snowflake. But I did some things that I feel like I can teach you. You can also do this at home, having your snowflake pattern and transforming it again using your measurements. So I think that will be very good for you because you will be able to do this, but it's specifically made for your own measurements. So on today's video, I will be explaining you a little bit more about this experiment that I did, which fabrics did I use and which techniques, sewing techniques did I use. Then I will also be explaining you how I drafted on my software to convert the bikini and bra pattern into the top, and I will also tell you how to take your measurements so that you are able to do exactly this at home following this video. Ready to start? Let's go! So first of all, let me explain you what I've done here. So I have used one layer of swimwear fabric all around, and then on the front I have used my lining is stabilizer fabric with no stretch. On the back my lining is strong power mesh, and if you are not familiar with all these fabrics, please make sure you watch our videos for the snowflake because you have all the information that you need on our sew-alongs and our media content for the snowflake. So, what did I change on this pattern? Well, I had it in here and here on the seams. I added boning. My boning it's 𝗱𝗫𝗏𝗏. It is sewn on my seams. It's not with a channel and then I insert the boning, but that's just because I only had the channeling for the boning in black and I really didn't want to use it, but you will see that because I've also filmed some parts when I was sewing this that I believe may also help you decide what you want to do at home. Then another thing that I would recommend, and you can see that I need to iron my 𝗱𝗫𝗏𝗏 because it's sticking out here, it's not soft. But another thing I would say in the back is that I would prefer if I had used a zipper here on the middle to open and close and to put it on, because it's not that easy to put it on. But unfortunately the measurement, the height here on the back, I don't have zippers that are separable here in Portugal with this size, but despite that I then remember that probably I could have sewn an invisible zipper or even any zipper that would open from the lower parts to the top here, and even if it only opens till 70% of my vertical seam, it would be enough for me to be much easier to put this top on my body. So that's the only change that I think you should do, includes the zipper, and I'm sure that I will film this again and I will do it with a zipper so that I may be able to help you doing it also at home. Now we are ready to go ahead and take the measurements that we need to then move on to the tutorial of the pattern transformation. So get your soft tape and let's take some measurements. So the first measurement we need is the vertical measurement taken from the underbust until your waistline. To know the waistline, you can tie an elastic around your waist, bend to the sides, front and back, and when you wear straight again, you will see that the elastic will be exactly on your natural waist. And then you just need to take the measurement from your underbust until that elastic, and that will be the vertical line, the height between the underbust and the waist. Then you will need to measure the waist where you have placed the elastic and take note of the vertical from underbust to waist. Then take note of your waist and divide the waist by 4. I will later on explain you why. And of course, if you want to evolve and also do a swimsuit, you can use one of our swimsuit patterns and try to combine it from the waist down with the changes that we are going to do today. But if you are really interested on watching me doing the full tutorial for the construction of the swimsuit, let me know so I can go ahead and do it for you. But for now, let's focus on the measurements. So from the underbust to the waist and the waist. And those are the measurements we need for today. But then, before we still go to the software or to your table to design, let's talk a little bit about the stretchiness of the fabrics. And when we design the pattern, let's talk about negative ease and positive ease and what is this. So you have seen probably on some other videos, and if you have read the blog on our website, you have already heard about the negative ease and the positive ease, and it's not something I invented, of course, but let me explain you just generally what this is. Well, when you have your own measurement, imagine I measure 88 busts. If I have 88 busts and I'm doing a dress and the fabric doesn't stretch, if I cut the diameter for the bust area 88, probably it will not fit me because the fabric doesn't stretch and I'm using the same measurement of my body and the same measurement on the fabric, so it won't fit. It will be too tight. So in that case, if it's a non-stretchy fabric, I would apply positive ease, which means that I would design the pattern a little bit bigger than my body, so then if the fabric doesn't fit, it still fits my body, and that would be with positive ease. You can do 4, 5, 8% positive ease. It will be up to your own taste to feel comfortable, and also, of course, if the fabric doesn't have any stretch. But then, of course, if the fabric has stretch, you still have fabrics that are 10% stretch, 15% stretch, and so you have to be careful also regarding that. On our snowflake, the front is made with the lining with stabilizer, and the stabilizer doesn't stretch. So you have all the elasticity coming from the back piece, which is sewn with fabric with stretchiness, like a swimmer fabric, and also power net. And that's the same fabric I have used on my corset. So on my top, I have used stabilizer as a lining on the front, and on the back as a lining I have used strong power net. So that's how I built the top. But going back again to the negative ease, for our pattern we will apply negative ease, and I will explain you, once you have the measurements of your waist divided by 4, how you do to calculate the negative ease that you are going to apply. And what I did in my case, I'm going to show you exactly how I drafted my pattern. Just a small detail. Some people have very V-shaped body shapes where you have a measurement around your bust and then the waist is very thin, but in my case I'm more like a rectangular shape, so the shape of your pattern is not going to be very accentuated. It's actually going to be a little bit more straight, and that will completely depend on your own measurements. So don't feel like it's strange when you watch my tutorial if your inclination, if your degrees on your waistline, from the bust line to your waistline, are accentuated or not that much, because it will depend on your body shape. Okay, and I think that's it for now. We are ready to go on our software, or in your case, if you prefer, on your table. I'm gonna explain very slowly so you can also follow. If you need, pause the video, go back, forth, however you want. Let's see how we can take our measurements before we start drafting. So remember, we talked about the under bust to waist. So I'm gonna measure my under bust to waist, and my measurement is 15 centimeters. Now I'm gonna just ask you to also measure your under bust measurements, and just take a note of your under bust. In my case, it is 73 centimeters. Since we are going to be designing the pattern for only half the front and then half the back, of course, we will always need to divide 73 divided by 4, so that we have only the portion that we want for the small part of the pattern. So for now, I'm also going to take note of how much it is 73 divided by 4, which is 1825. So on my front, the stretch of the fabric is 0, so we will have 0 negative ease, okay? And this means that when we now measure the waist, and my waist is 78 centimeters, and I divide the waist by 4, again, 78 divided by 4, I will have 17 centimeters. So again, under bust to waist 15 centimeters, so here I will have 15, and my waist girth is 68, which divided by 4, it's 17. So my real measurement from here to here, it is 17 centimeters. And we are not going to have any ease on the front pattern, so our front pattern will be drafted with our real measurements. But then we will need to draft the back pattern, and we will use the power net as I told you. This means that we will make some changes on the back pattern regarding measurements. And that will be, if you have your under bust measurement and your under bust is 73 like mine is, you will have to calculate how much negative ease you want to give to your pattern. And in this case, with the power net, I will give 5%. Hello? So for the back, we will have power net, and the power net doesn't stretch that much, so I'm gonna apply 5% negative ease, which means that if you have in percentage 100% minus the 5%, you will have 95%. This is only helpful because you will need to place your waist divided by 4, so the 17 centimeters that we had there, 17, and we will multiply it by 95%. And this measurement will be our waist for the back piece. Let me just do here, 17, 95%. So it will be 16.15 centimeters. And finally, for my under bust, you remember that it was 73 and divided by 4 it was 18.25. I again going to multiply 18.25 by 95%, which will be my under bust for the back piece. Which is 17.33 centimeters. And this will be my under bust for my back. So all of this is to design the back pattern. And this measurement here and this one is for us to design the front. Grab your snowflake and let's learn how to transform drafting the new pattern and also how to sew it on our sew-alongs, available when you buy the pattern.